early birds. I've got a bit of a sore throat this morning, so I'm hoping that I don't sound too croaky, that you can still hear me okay. But good morning and welcome to Morning Magic. I want to share today with you a story from the Bible, from Genesis 11. Hi, Rolene. Hi, Stephen. So in Genesis 11, what happens is it's the story of the Tower of Babel. And when I read this a couple of days ago, there was a few things that struck me from this, especially in the context of, creating things in our lives from scratch. Things that doesn't exist yet, to make that happen. And when I read this story, there were a few things that stood out to me. So I'm going to quickly just skip through the main details of the stories. It starts out saying the whole earth was of one language. And I found it interesting that was the very first thing that God thought was important to call out in this story. The whole earth was of one language. And then they decided to build a tower to heaven. And this was to the point where it caught God's attention, to the point where it says that the Lord came down to see what they were doing. Now, I have no doubt that God knew what they were doing, but, this just shows that he really paid attention. They were doing something out of the ordinary. This was not just your standard little tower that they were going to build. And then it says, and the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. Let us go down and confound their language. So they were doing something that God didn't think was a good idea. Now, whatever the reasons was for it to not be a good idea, that's besides the topic of this talk. But he thought that the most powerful thing that he can use to stop them from doing something that would not be good for them is to confound. Hey, Swan, is to confound their language, to make sure that they cannot speak in the same, with the same voice, with the same vision, that they cannot articulate the same vision to each other. And the other thing that struck me was that these were not the people of God. They were not following God in this. They did not have some supernatural empowerment for the task at hand. They were simply doing what is possible to do for any human being because of the way that God created us. And he created us with free will, and you can use that in any which way that you want. Some ways might not be good for you. So, it's encouraged to follow him in where it would be good for you. But the point of this is that we have so much more creative ability than we use ever. So just think about, what could you create if you took off the limit? And there's lots to think about why God didn't want them to build this tower, why this specific thing was not going to be a good idea for them and in the bigger scheme of things. But what are you not creating because you simply don't believe that you can? And what are you not creating because you don't stick to speaking one language? And the people that's involved in any big thing that we want to do, we always need people for it. You really can't do any really big thing on your own. So if you want to create a fantastic family environment in your home, you need the family to buy into the vision, and you need the family to speak with one language towards the vision. In any business endeavor, any creative endeavor that you have, if there are other people involved, it's really important that you speak with the same language, that you articulate things to each other along the same line, that it's in line with the vision that you have, and that you don't speak things that are contrary to what you want to create. So that's just my little thought for today. I think there's lots more that you can ponder on and go and think about. And if you want to read the story for yourself, that was in Genesis 11. But that was just a thought that I wanted to leave with you. You can create more than you think you can. So go for it. Have a fantastic day, everyone. I'll see you back again tomorrow. Keep well.